Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Paranormal Underground Radio at hazyradio.com. We are your hosts, Karen and Rick. For the first half of the show, we were talking to Corey Stolberg, co-founder of Paranormal, super swell guy, and I hope that he and his partner, Bill Hoax, will come back on. That would be great to talk to both of them. So joining us for this half of the show is going to be documentary filmmaker and the creator of the documentary, of the film, The Ghost Tapes, a documentary about the paranormal, is Luke Millett. Thank you so much, Luke, and welcome to the Underground.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Great, thanks. So, you and I, we know each other and stuff, but, for our listeners, I always like to ask people what got them interested in researching and investigating the paranormal.
Well, I mentioned this in my film, but of course, for those who haven't seen it, obviously, it all started way back when I was a little boy, and my father passed away at a really young age, and I've never had any real closure. I never got to say goodbye to him because no one really told me what was going on until after he had passed on, and so ever since then, I've just always been trying to prove to myself, as well as everyone else, that these things might be out there, and we need to at least make an attempt to make contact with them.
Right.
And so, it's just the passing of my father, I guess, really got
like you prefer.
Sorry, there was some breaking up there.
Do you feel like you've proven it to yourself?
That's a really tough question because I'm always my toughest critic.
Sure.
I think the best way I could answer that is I think I've proved to myself the possibility of it.
Okay.
I'm still not 100% on anything that I've personally captured yet.
Fair enough.
Okay. So now, I'm assuming then that, of course, that this was what sparked you doing the film The Ghost Tapes, which the first time I saw it, I thought it was great. I thought it was the most honest documentary that I've ever seen because it was coming from a person that is still in that do I believe or don't I believe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I'm still stuck in that phase, which is why we're now working on Ghost Tapes 2.
Yeah. I've been there, so I understand being in that do I believe or don't I believe now. I have since moved into firmly the believe column, as Rick will tell you. I mean, there's no waffling for me anymore. But so I get where you're coming from with that. And interestingly, one of the things I did when I was in that do I believe or don't I believe thing was it filmed a documentary too. So weird, huh?
Oh.
But so I would like to know about the first Ghost Tapes because I haven't seen it. And can you tell our listeners a little bit about it?
Absolutely. Well, the really funny thing is I've had the idea to make Ghost Tapes for probably about 10 years now. Ever since I was in high school, I've been dying to make it. And I don't know, I just never got the push I needed to get around to it until this huge paranormal boom happened in all the TV shows and all the movies, and
it
just made me really mad. And so I was like, I'm going to get this ball rolling. I'm going to find someone, whoever it'll be, to help me investigate these dark, scary places. And that's pretty much what lighted that fire, was this whole explosion of paranormal media.
So you said that it was something that... Oh, sorry, Luke, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you say that it's something that, made you mad. What exactly about it made you mad? I mean, how did it affect you when you saw this? Is this something that is just not honest or what?
It's kind of that it's not honest. It's that all of these shows seem to gear more towards like the TV personality hosts that are presenting it, rather than what they're trying to prove.
Yes.
It's like everything keeps coming back to the host. That's what bugs me.
Right. So kind of like a style versus content kind of thing.
Exactly.
So how is the ghost tapes different then?
Well, I've studied lots of paranormal shows, and I kind of understood the formula that they were working with. What I noticed that a lot of these shows do is they'll dedicate half of their time slot to explaining things and interviewing people and like recreations, and then they would do the last half with the actual investigating, and that makes me a little mad. So with my movie, I just do a little tiny bit of exposition, and then the whole bulk of everything is just investigation time.
Interesting.
Right, exactly. So in the video, it's not just you. You're with another guy. Who is that gentleman?
That is Jim Chester, a very good friend of mine now. But when we first met, we were more. He was a client of mine that I would do video work for, and we became really good friends after doing some commercials together. And I just asked him, like, "Hey, do you want to go ghost hunting with me and make a documentary?" He's really adamant about it at first. He's like, "Why do you want to do that?" And I just was like, "Why don't I want to do that?"
Why wouldn't I? Yeah, exactly.
And now that it's out and it's getting some good exposure, it's like he says it's one of the coolest things that he's done with his life so far. And so I'm happy I got him involved.
Right. Yeah, and I'm very proud and happy to be involved with this with the second Ghost Tapes.
It's great to have you on board.
Oh, thanks. Now, when you're investigating, do you prefer the private home investigation, or do you prefer to go to a location?
That's a tough question. It's tough for me because the investigation that you and I did recently, that was my first private home investigation ever.
Oh, okay.
So I don't have a lot of exposure to homes, but if I had to pick, I would say locations, because they give you a little more room to work around, and there seems to have been way more people involved in like a public site.
Sure.
So probably just more energy, but that's just my guess.
Sure. Well, I have to ask you. I want to go back to our early chat a little bit. Do you have something in mind that will be that thing that tips the scale into belief for you, or will you know it when you see it?
I'm going to have to say like a full apparition of a person. Or
that's what did it for me.
Or a straight up object just flying or moving by itself.
Yes, that also did it for me. Those things do happen. So if you keep at it, there's a good chance you'll see those things. So then, but even then, do you think that lingering doubt will be there because you've had it for so long?
I think the lingering doubt will be there, but only because I want an excuse to keep making more documentaries.
Sure.
Well, who's to say you have to...
to myself... Go ahead.
Well, I want to know why you would have to stop if you suddenly believed.
Well, I wouldn't feel the need to stop altogether, but I think the motivation might die down a little bit.
Oh, so it's kind of like a searching for something. I mean, I know with me that I really honestly would tell people that I hope that we can never really figure it out, because it will lose that magic. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes. But the thing is, I don't think we will ever figure it out. And even if we did figure it out, there will still be skeptics who say, BS.
Of course. Yeah. So now,
as long as there's skeptics, the mystery will be there, I think.
Right. No, I couldn't agree more. I'm always, recently they had a guy who claimed to have shot and killed a Bigfoot. And it's like, bringing something like that in front of the entire world and saying, here it is, it kind of just ruins it for me, I guess. I don't know. It's saying, well, it's over, it's been proved, so now there really is nothing more to investigate and look into.
Well, I guess I know what I need to look up after our chat then.
Yeah.
Did that happen?
Yeah, well, I think his guy's name's Dwayne Dyer, and he has a history of being more of a huckster than being a legitimate cryptozoologist. So, I don't know. I mean, I would personally hate to be the person that shot and killed a Bigfoot, especially if it was the last remaining member of its species. Like, that's it, dude. There's no more. That was it, and you just killed it.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
So if you had that experience where you believed and you decided, well, I can't make a documentary about ghosts anymore, then where do you go next? What do you do next?
Ooh, probably just a documentary on something else, because that seems to be the thing I'm good at. So, more documentaries, different subject.
Yeah. Are you interested in other areas of the paranormal, or would you totally switch gears, do you think?
Do you have an example? I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, like Bigfoot or UFOs or things like that. Are there other mysteries that interest you? Maybe reincarnation or anything like that?
I would have to say aliens for sure.
Yeah.
But a lot harder to investigate, I'm sure.
A lot harder to investigate well and on camera, I would guess.
I would say so. Luke, since I got you here right now, I did want to suggest to you that, maybe you might want to add a little bit of a monster thing into the ghost tapes, just to kind of switch it up a little bit. Just a small segment. And I got an idea for it. Are you interested? You want to hear about it?
Yeah, shoot.
The Beast of Bray Road up in Elkhorn, Wisconsin. It is approximately 30 miles away from me, and it is still seen quite regularly.
What does it look like?
It's a werewolf.
Okay.
It's a werewolf. At least that's what people say it is. I think it to me it sounds a little bit more like either somebody's messing around and making a hoax, or it is a Bigfoot type creature. But people, when they see it, they claim that it is a werewolf.
I gotta tell you, that sounds a little dangerous.
It does sound dangerous, but from what I understand, it's never actually hurt anybody.
Just take a silver bullet with you. You'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
Fine.
Come on.
Just the bullet.
Just the bullet. Throw it at it and run like hell.
So, you know what? Think about it. It's interesting. It's dangerous, but that is what makes it so incredibly fun.
Well, I'll consider it if you'll go too, Rick.
Yeah, I wouldn't say, let's go do this. Let's go look for this thing if I wasn't interested.
And then you can finally totally earn the name Skidmark, Rick, when you see that thing. Yep.
Yeah, when I see like a 9-foot werewolf running at me. Back to the ghost tapes. Now, in the ghost tapes, you visited some very well-known places here in Illinois, and one of the places that you visited was the White Cemetery. Personally, for me, I'm very skeptical concerning the White Cemetery. I think that there's a lot of urban legend that's involved. But while you were there filming, did you experience anything, or do you think it's just urban legend as well?
Well, again, I don't think I got enough to call, cemented evidence, but we definitely got some weird things there that we can't explain. We went back a second day to try and recreate whatever happened, and different things happened. And
right.
So for right now, I would say there's something to what people are saying about it.
Okay. And Bachelor's Grove, which is, by far my favorite location Let's talk a little bit about Bachelor's Grove, because it's really great to talk about. When you went there, did you initially, get any kind of evidence? Because from what I understand, that anybody who goes to Bachelor's Grove is going to walk away with something.
We have captured what some of us believe is an EVP, and other people claim that it's the microphone rubbing up against my coat or something like that. But I think it's an EVP, because what I did was I did a little test. I took a 20-second chunk of audio that had this EVP in it, and I just emailed it to Jim. I didn't say anything. I didn't tell him what it was. I just said, listen to this, let me know what you think. And he texted me the same phrase that I thought I heard in all caps, and it gave me goosebumps when he texted me that.
Right. So one of the things that I found really interesting about the first documentary was, a lot of the stuff that you had to say concerning it. One of those things is that ghosts don't only appear at night. Sorry about that. I didn't get that.
Oh, no, I'm just agreeing with you. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Now, I know that when we went on the investigation, we turned out the lights and a lot of other kind of things. But what do you think? Do you think that you're going to get more during the day, or do you think that you're going to get more at night? I mean, even with the lights on at night, that's fine and everything. But what do you where do you think that it's more likely to happen? What is your own personal philosophy of the activity of spirits?
Well, I don't think that ghosts are more prone to give you activity if the lights are on or off. But personally, I've noticed that when using night vision cameras, you tend to see a lot more anomalies in pitch darkness that you probably wouldn't see with all the lights on. Like, I know everyone hates orbs, but I mean, I see a lot of them, and a lot of them were shooting in and out of view that night, and I know dust can't do that.
Yeah.
And I don't think we would have seen those if the lights were on.
Right.
It depends on where they were shooting out of and whether it was taco night at Rick's house or not.
You know what? Actually, it was grilled cheese and soup night.
Okay.
That was wrong.
So yeah, you talk about with the orbs and stuff. I mean, personally, I there's something inside of my brain that's like, okay, maybe this is spirit activity, but there's also something inside of me that says that this is plasma, energy that is flowing through the air. With that kind of thing, do you think that this, with these orbs, I mean, could it be spirit energy? Well, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I'm not going to lie to you, Rick. I'm not a scientist. I don't claim to know anything. Well, you have a lot more experience than I do, but all I can really say for a fact is I know that these little balls of light are not dust, and they're not bugs. I do believe they're some type of conscious energy, but whether they're ghosts or not, it's hard to say.
Okay.
But conscious energy for sure.
Very good then. Yeah, it's weird because it's like I'm watching this video and I've never actually seen that happen to me before. But it's like you can definitely watch as like this little ball of light. I don't even want to say it was a ball. It was more like a blur. Just sort of flew in and then boof out again. And obviously dust and bugs or whatever, they're not going to be able to do that kind of thing. So so you talk about doing documentaries with the ghost tapes. Is it just going to be Ghost Tapes 1 and 2, or what can we expect in the future?
Well, at this stage right now, I'm looking to make a nice square trilogy out of it.
Okay.
I'm going to try and finish the second one by Halloween, and then hopefully by next December we'll have a third one in the works.
Okay. Yeah, because I think that I may have a couple of things that I can line up, a couple more private homes, and what I like about private homes, and what's going to be nice in your documentary is that we don't really see that a lot. We see people going to more like locations than going into people's private homes. Yeah, I mean, private homes is definitely, for me, that's where it's at. That's where you're actually doing some kind of, real help.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. I think part of the problem is that a lot of residential homeowners are not cool about, letting people come in and on all their ghosts, because I've tried residences before and people are not happy about those kind of questions.
Right.
Well, if they ever want to sell their house, it is a stigmatized property, and that can be tough. I understand.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how Rick keeps getting all these houses. Tell me your secret, Rick.
Well, I mean, it's this one was through Jamie's father-in-law. He works with the client. Well, I could say her name. Her name is Jamie as well. He works with Jamie, and I had actually been in her old house once before. Got nothing in that house, but within in this house, just the. I would go away saying that there was definitely spiritual activity in that home just from that massive drop in temperature that we experienced. I mean, that was a 25-degree drop in temperature in a matter of, 5 minute?
10 minutes, yeah. It was a 25 degrees. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it was constant. Yeah, I have never seen that before. And that's what I'm talking about. It's like you can have all the experience in the world, but I tell you what, you're always going to come across that something that's so much more interesting, so much more amazing, and it's something is always going to, all I could say is just going to amaze you. But no, I come up with these private homes, like that one was word of mouth. Others are word of mouth as well.
Yeah, that's how we do a lot of private resident stuff too, and it's, they hear of us. So.
Right.
Yeah, I need help getting into more houses for sure. I don't know that many people. Yeah.
It's it's exactly like what you said. People are very reluctant, especially nowadays, because let's face it, there's been a lot of paranormal teams that have been in the news that have done some extremely bad things, and people are even they're even more reluctant now of allowing folks like us into their home. And to be perfectly honest with you, rightly so, because nothing would scare me more than, a group of guys down south, burning down a building and then allowing them into my home.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to tell you, if I don't know a paranormal group personally, I wouldn't let them into my house. I'm just weird about those things,
And see, we don't have that problem, so that's interesting because that's never been an issue for us. We've never experienced a drop off in people who want us to come see their houses. As a matter of fact, it's picked up. So maybe different part of the country, different experiences, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. So there is a location in the ghost tapes, the original one, that was you can't tell people the location, and I get that, but it was a theater of sorts, correct?
Yes, correct.
Right. Now, what exactly is it that you experienced there? For people who are going to see it, I mean, what kind of experiences did you have?
Oh my God, that theater! That's probably the hottest spot that I've ever been to this day. I mean, we got a little bit of everything. We've got some spirit box voices come through. We've got a lot of EMF spikes. And I really think I went through some kind of mild possession, especially in one room. It was a ballroom.
Right.
And the very second we walked in, I started feeling nauseous. I felt lightheaded and dizzy, and it felt like something was trying to distract me from what I was doing.
Right.
I kept, dropping my camera, not, dropping on the floor, but just not pointing at anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting down a lot, and I was just like, where am I and what am I doing here? So It was really tough to get my focus back after whatever that was.
Yeah, you seem to be having a really hard time with that. Now, were you ever able to determine who or what was doing this to you? Did you have anything to, any kind of evidence to back it up?
Well, I'm gonna say something that I don't know. You might not like it, but this is a small part of a theory I have. It could have been, some evil spirit get into me. I felt like. But it also could have been some type of leak in the building, like a gas leak.
Okay.
Because I was researching what I went through, and a lot of those symptoms stemmed from, I don't remember what it was, but it was like some kind of noxious gas that leaks in buildings sometimes.
Right.
But Jim wasn't feeling any of that, which is what kind of makes me turn away from that theory.
Sure. Well, but some people are more susceptible to things than other people, so I think it's a good theory, actually, although I will say that I've had experiences like that in the absence of those types of things, too. So, hard to know.
I'd have to get more information about, like, the building and that room, and I want to do a second follow-up investigation there, but they're going to be tearing it down soon, so that's probably out of the question.
Right. That's too bad. And that's a thing too. A lot of people, they don't understand the kind of effects that, say, low levels of carbon monoxide can have on a person. If it's extremely low levels, it's not going to not right away anyways. It's not going to kill you, but it can cause nervousness, does cause nausea, does cause hallucinations, auditory as well as visual. You have other such things as infrasound or high electromagnetic fields. I mean, there are any number of things that can really mess with the human being, and it's not always spiritual.
And that's what makes this field so hard, is that, and probably why you have this little lingering doubt until, you've got some apparition that appears in front of you, looks you in the eye, says boo, and disappears, is because there are so many potential explanations for these things that if you can't rule out every logical explanation, you can't say, oh, that was for sure a ghost.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'll probably never be 100% on what it was, but I'm definitely leaning more towards some kind of spiritual activity over a gas leak.
Sure. Now,
with what I went through, that was not okay. I was not right.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm watching this, and I could tell that you were definitely feeling sick. I mean, I'm watching this, and I could tell it's like this is not somebody that's trying to stage something here. This is a person that is in real physical distress.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to just break down and cry in that room. I just wanted to sit in a chair and just have a cry for a while. I don't know why.
Well, that sounds a little bit like empathy.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It sounds like you may have experienced some kind of a psychic episode there. Yeah,
I mean, I go back and I watch that footage, and I kind of get chills because it doesn't even look like me a little bit. It looks like someone else.
Yeah, you could definitely tell that there was something that was definitely wrong. Now, I noticed that in the original, what was that? Karen, did you hear that?
I heard that too.
What? No, I was muted, so it's nothing from my house. But yeah, I heard. I just assumed somebody moved it. Somebody's chair squeaked or something.
Oh, okay, that was just too weird. Now, the night that we did the home here was literally within walking distance of my house. That was the first time you had ever worked with a medium, correct?
Yep.
Now,
absolutely.
What are your thoughts concerning that? Are you skeptical of mediums, or do you have more of What is your philosophy concerning psychic ability and its use in the paranormal field?
I think it has a very important place because, I mean, you can almost tell right away if a skeptic is full of crap or if they have, like, actual claims to what they say they can do, you know?
Right.
Because I've never met a real one or a fake one before, so I can't compare them. But just the things that she was saying were things that were kind of, you know, adding up without us even telling her that.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a lot of, I actually just watched some of the footage tonight, so it's fresh in my mind. But when she was walking around and giving us like the initial tour of the house, she said there's a lot of arguing, there's a lot of anger, you know, there's a lot of frustration. And then later, when you and I did the spirit box session in that room, I asked it, did you guys fight a lot? And it said, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, there are little ways to tell if, you know, a medium has the gift or not. Little things like that.
Correct. Yeah, and
I would love to work with them more, you know?
Oh, yeah, we'll definitely, I'm sure we'll be working with Nancy more in the future, especially if I can, you know, get these other investigations lined up. Because personally, me, I will not conduct an investigation without the impressions of a medium or a psychic, you know, whatever term you want to use. I won't do it only because, you know, I don't know exactly what is there. I mean, although I am sensitive, I'm not a medium. And it's like I can sense that something's there, but I don't know what it is. Whereas a medium can tell you that.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah, and it's just and Karen too. Karen, I don't know. What would you call yourself? Would you call yourself a medium or what?
I don't
me
label
personally?
it.
Oh, sorry.
No, he's asking me.
I'm asking Karen.
I don't give it any labels. I have abilities and I can communicate and figure things out when I'm on investigations. And, you know, when I'm talking to people and when they come to my house, and I suppose the label for that is medium, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
There you go.
I mean, you're acting as the go-between between yourself and
yeah, that's exactly what I feel like. I feel like what I am is like a receiver or a like a translator is really more what I feel like. You know,
right.
They tell me and I tell you, and there you go.
Exactly. And you know what? I don't think that, you know, it's like you get a lot of the shows and a lot of the people nowadays who are, you know, they're like, oh, I don't work with psychics or I don't work with mediums because, you know, they're all phony, you know. And it's like, but wait a second. Here's one thing that you don't understand. Whenever you turn that little recorder on and you ask, is there anybody here who would like to make their presence known? You are in effect becoming a medium. You are bridging that gap between the spirit world and the living world. You may not be receiving it psychically, but you are still acting as a go-between, as a medium.
That's true, because you are being the translator. Just like I just said, what I do is I'm a translator. I just hear it in my head.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, and I don't think a lot of people really understand that. It's weird how people are just so down on that kind of thing. So, you know, in the future, you know, Luke, you talk about this being done by Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm still hoping that I'm going to hear from the Mineola people. I'm still hoping that this woman will eventually get back to me, because I tell you what, dude, it's been frustrating. I've sent her a couple messages now, and I almost get the feeling like we're being blown off. That's kind of but you know what? You're gonna experience that kind of thing when you do this kind of thing, especially, you know, going to like a historic location. They're like, yeah, okay, whatever, you know, but that's unfortunately what happens.
I can't even tell you how many times I got the shrug off.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it happens more than you actually get to investigate.
Right.
Well, you have to be kind of bold to do this. You have to be willing to ask for what you want. You have to be persistent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fortunately, I have people who do that for me. I just get to show up.
So what? Yeah. So what is the future plans? Luke, besides just doing, the second one, or what does your film career future look like?
That is a good question. Film career. I mean, it's really tough to say. I don't know. I don't have a real clear vision of what it looks like. I just know that it's there, and I have to get to it.
Right.
I mean, I would love to, make more, non-paranormal related documentaries or scripted, acted horror films. There's so many different things I want to do. But so far, I mean, my track is looking, like ghost tapes for a while because I'm just having so much fun with it and I'm learning so much.
Right, and that's what all this. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
I would just say that the people seem to like it. I mean, that's
sure.
Part of the reason why we're doing a second one is because after this first one came out, it was kind of like a little explosion, and everyone is asking when's the second one.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, crap, let's make a second one then. Keep looking.
Luke, I like you. You're a guy who's following his creative muse, and that's always a good thing. That's what I've done throughout my life is chased my creative muse around and around, and it's always made me a pretty happy person. So more power to you for doing that. So we've come to the point in our show that we call Shameless Self-Promotion Corner. This is where you can promote away anything you want.
Okay. Well, I have a lot to say on that end.
Excellent.
Okay.
Hit us.
Lots of big news just happened today and yesterday. So, Rick, I don't even think you know this yet. But yesterday I was informed that we have obtained permission to investigate the Stanley Hotel in Colorado.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
And
congratulations.
I've been dying to go there my whole life.
That's exciting.
For people who don't know, it's the direct inspiration for the Overlook Hotel from The Shining.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
In Estes Park, Colorado.
Oh, it's going to be a blast. Probably going out there in May to investigate.
Okay, it's funny too because my wife's brother lives out that way, and we might just have to be there as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we should try and make that work.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, let me know, and we'll see if I can set it up. Because last year we went out there during May too, and yeah, dude, I mean, the place is beautiful. I went on one of their ghost tours, and I saw a door close by itself, not just once, but twice. And I tell you what, even though I was on the ghost tour, I jumped up from where I was sitting and I ran over to that door, and everybody's looking at me like, "What's going on with this guy here?" And I gotta tell you, dude, there was nothing there that would have closed that door. Nothing. There was no springs. There was no rope. There was no nothing. There was no shaking of the walls. There was whatever closed that door was an invisible person. That's all I'm going to say. That's what it was to me.
So what else do you have?
Now I'm even more excited to go there.
Yeah, very cool. Okay. So what else do you have coming up?
Well, actually, today I received an award in the mail from the Salty Horror International Film Festival that I submitted
horror. Did you say Salty Horror or Salty Horror?
Salty Horror.
Okay, shoot. That'd be a whole different kind of movie.
Yeah. And anyways, we've been awarded Best Documentary of 2013.
Congratulations. Cool. You've had a big day.
Yeah, it's been a huge day for me. So I'm excited about that.
Very good.
And
congratulations.
Just general promotion. You guys can catch ghost tapes pretty much anywhere on the internet. YouTube, search it. You can go to theghosttapes.com, facebook.com/theghosttapes. I mean, just punch it into Google. You'll find it. And Ghost Tapes has also been selected to be hosted on indieflix.com, which is kind of like a cousin site to Netflix.
Neat.
So if you have the cash and you can pay a small subscription fee, I would love it. If people can watch Ghost Tapes on IndieFlix, it'll put some money towards the sequel. But if you're strapped for cash, just watch it on YouTube. I offer the option, because I know a lot of people don't have money right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. Go to the Google, guys, and Google Ghost Tapes. What else you got?
Did you really just say the Google?
Of course I did.
Oh, my God. Okay,
I did it just for you.
Proceed.
Well, that's pretty much all I have to say. If you haven't seen Ghost Tapes, go out and watch it, and be prepared for Ghost Tapes 2 to launch this Halloween.
Fantastic.
Great.
Looking forward to it.
Me too.
Luke, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a lot of fun
Luke.
talking to you.
Thank you guys so much for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Great. You have a wonderful evening.
You too, guys.
All right,
Talk to you
good
later,
night.
buddy. All right.
There you go, guys. Luke Millett with the Ghost Tapes. Go to the Google. Go to the Google. The Google, the Google.
To the Google!
Oh, I just like messing with you, Rick. Okay, Cheryl.
Hey, gang.
Hi. So,
Hi.
this is the business time.
Yeah, good stuff with Corey and Luke. I was enjoying listening, so good job, good job.
Okay.
I still need to see the Ghost Tapes, so I will do that.
Well, you know how you find
It's
it?
excellent.
The Google?
You go to the Google.
The Google.
Awesome. I love the Google.